the Mega Ghostrick Monarch deck. This is more of a theme deck and not really one I made to be competitive. So the theme of this deck is to use both of the Mega Monarchs. So we have Gamrock the Mega Monarch and Mobius the Mega Monarch. You know, the two Mega Monarchs, so I just use two of each. And then I built the deck around having these two cards in it, and I cannot take them out because this deck is a lot more efficient if you don't use them. I mean, this card's fine and everything, but anyways, let me go through it. So I have double Tragodia, one Princess of Chameleus, one Light and Darkness Dragon, double Gamrock, double Mobius, triple Caius, triple Jengishi, triple Card Trooper, triple Crane, one Dandelion, one Ghostrick Frost, triple Lantern, triple Spectre, triple Kinkabyo, one Treeborn Frog, double Effect Veiler, two Trade-ins, one Dark Hole, triple Soul Exchange, and one Foolish Burial. And I used to have a Lone Fire Blossom in this deck, but it started to feel more like a plant deck and not a Monarch deck, so I just took it out. But this card still worked out pretty well because you can tribute the Dandelion tokens to activate its effect to negate effects to target this card. And because of the Tree Spirit with Crane bringing out either Card Trooper or another copy of Crane, you can use this card to send this one to the grave if it's not already there, or special summon it, but mainly it's to special summon out Dandelion. Or to go for Ghostrick Alucard, because Alucard allows you to destroy your opponent's spell and trap cards, and when he's destroyed you can add a Ghostrick back to your hand. So Crane's in there mainly for Alucard, but you can also go into the Tree Spirit. There isn't really a need to have 3 of these in here, but that was from when I was using Lone Fire, and I was using plants a lot when I had Lone Fire in here. Which you can do, but this is a themed deck, not a plant deck. A themed Monarch deck. I mean, Mega Monarch deck. Mega Monarch deck, meaning you need 2 tribute summons to bring them out. So, Treeborn Frog, I earlier build had a 1 Swap Frog in here, but I took that out too because it was turning into a Froggy Monarch deck, and I didn't want that. I wanted a Ghostrick Mega Monarch deck. But 1 Treeborn was still really good because Ghostrick Duellahan, you can just pretty much go into a Ghostrick Duellahan every turn with just special summon out a Treeborn Frog on your turn after leaving one of your Ghostricks on the field after stopping your opponent's attack. Go into a Duellahan attack and detach Treeborn Frog and use them again on your next turn. So yeah, this deck is all about getting out 2 tribute summons, so I have the Duellahan and Alucard with Kinkabyo and Crane as grabbing out Alucards and Duellahans so that I can tribute them for these Monarchs while having some other form of tribute out on the field, either it being a Treeborn Frog or one of the Ghostricks being alive from the last turn, or just another tribute summoned monster, or one of the Dandelion tokens, because Dandelion tokens are really good. And it's really easy to send to the grave with Foolish Burial, or this card. So yeah, it's all about getting out 2 tributes, and for this deck I really wanted to focus around tributing Duellahan and Alucard for their effects. Because when these cards are tributed, you still gain their effect of adding a Ghostrick back to your hand. And that actually worked out really well because Duellahan and Alucard on their own both have really good effects, where this one can start popping your opponent's back row or their set cards, and Duellahan is great for attacking and comboing with your other Monarchs, because Monarchs don't really have high attack. I mean, the Mega Monarchs are pretty good. And then Light and Darkness Dragon, because this deck is all about having 2 tributes out in the field, so why not? Light and Darkness Dragon is great. You can also special summon out either a Princess, Camellia, or one of the Mega Monarchs from the grave when he's destroyed, which is also really good. And Tragodia is just in here because he's Tragodia. Triple Soul Exchange, it's self-explanatory. Dark Hole, double Trade-in. I couldn't justify running 3 since there's only 6 level 8 monsters in this deck, and you really don't want this card in your hand because you're trying to save your tribute summons for your Monarchs or Light and Darkness Dragon. And this card is perfectly fine in the grave because you can special summon it out with the Melius of the tree, which is really easy to bring out with Crane and Card Trooper. And Card Trooper is really great for milling the deck and getting this card in the grave. But this deck is all about the Mega Monarchs. You don't really get out this card's second effect where you get to draw a card very often, unless you tribute the Tree Spirit or Crane or Card Trooper with it. But you do get off the Mega Monarchs effect quite often because Treeborn Frog is usually in the grave pretty early due to Foolish Burial or Card Trooper. Because Foolish Burial is basically in here just for Treeborn Frog and Dandelion. Getting either of those in the grave early is top priority. If both of these are already in the grave, then you send this card so you can special summon out with this card. This deck actually, even though it's a theme deck, meaning it wasn't meant to be, well, it's a theme deck that turned out very well. But it's turned more into a plant deck because of Crane and Dandelion, but it's not a plant deck. It's a Monarch deck that uses the Mega Monarchs, and they're not half bad. If you can get off Mobius effect where they can't activate the spell and trap cards, they get really salty. But what this deck lacks is actual monster removal. So that's why there's the triple Caius, because Caius is the best Monarch. And I just couldn't play a pure Mega Monarch deck. I had to add in Caius because there was just no way to destroy actual monsters on the field. So that's why Caius is in here, to get rid of their monsters. Same thing with Soul Exchange. Soul Exchange is basically in here just to destroy your opponent's monsters because this deck has spell and trap cards covered with Mobius, Gamrock, and Alucard, and you bring out Alucard quite often. So if you're playing against someone else who's really back row heavy, they're going to hate you if you play this deck. But you also have really good ways to destroy monsters, so this deck actually works out pretty well. I'm actually quite happy with it.